decided to do another ARP9 build with the EMERBU ARP9, which is the TG or Tiangong ARP9. And what I want to do with this one is, in the past I've shown you where I've actually cut the shell to make an attachment, kind of a barrel nut, so that you could put a handguard on there. And instead, this time around, I thought, let me see what I can do without, damaging the stock shell at all, or what can I do with that instead. So this truly was just some prototyping, some modeling on my own. And again, I've told you guys before, when it comes to 3D printing, I'm no modeling expert. I actually build these different pieces using shapes, using other modified pieces sometimes. In this case, it was pretty much 100% just me making shapes essentially and building those together to make this extended handguard that's going to go on here. So this is kind of the look of it. We've got the rails already on the top and everything. You can see it's already been painted out a little bit. And this is the piece that's going to slide in to attach. So essentially, it's going to slide in like this, and that's going to be attached down there nice and flush. Now, the only places where I actually did anything to the stock or factory shell was I just had to drill these holes out a little larger, because when I put these rails back on, so I had to drill them on the rail as well, like right there. It's hardly noticeable how much larger I had to drill that. So when this rail goes back on, when we put it together, the screw that goes through there goes through this hole all the way into that heat insert that I have right there. So there's going to be one in the top, and then obviously that's what this is for, the one in the bottom that I showed you as well. So that's really going to keep it on there nice and secure. There shouldn't be any issues with that. And like I said, that way I was able to do it without, really cutting this piece at all, because I know a lot of you guys wouldn't want to do that, and I wouldn't either if it was my only blaster. And if I didn't get all these sent to me, I probably wouldn't do it. But I'm trying to do some cool creative things to show you guys, because that makes it more fun for me. However, this was a cool challenge to show you guys something that I did that doesn't modify the actual base blaster itself. So this will go on through, like this basically, right? It'll get tightened through the top and the bottom after those rails go on. And then these external rails are going to go right here. And I'm going to utilize the same spot right there. There were side rails on here, so I'm going to utilize the same spot to put one in here that's going to, again, attach to that base, and then it'll attach out here to the handguard. So we're going to definitely, with all those points of contact, I'm not worried about any sort of stability at all at that point, okay? We also got a cool grip to go down here, and of course I'll position it in such a way that it works so that it's secured on each side of that handguard. That's good placement for it. Again, just going to offer some more stability. This was a cool grip. I hadn't printed this one before. I kind of liked it. Okay, and you can see obviously we're doing the desert tan and the black kind of color. So since this would go on here, it would leave this exposed. Now I thought I could just do the same hardware that came with, put a washer there, and I certainly could. And if I don't like how this looks, I may end up going that route. But instead I printed these pieces that would go on right here. So there's that hole for the screw. And then those pieces were made just to accommodate that little sticker with the logo. So you put that, I put that on, I'd screw it in, I'll put the sticker logo over it. So of course to get it off, you'd peel the sticker, but that's not a really big deal. So other than that, just, painted out the ejection port cover here, right? And again, just careful not to paint that side, and then it should still work without issue. Painted out this cover here just because I thought this might look cool to have that match. So that's that little blowback piece. And then just the forward assist button, since it doesn't do anything anyway. It is spring loaded on this one though, so at least it's movable if you want to go ahead and push it. Extended outer barrel. So that's going to go right here, basically right to the end of the metal. Now this metal inner barrel obviously is a bigger one. It's a longer one. I've had 3 or 4 of these ARPs open. On a couple of them, the metal inner barrel came out really easy out of the T-piece. On one of them it didn't, so I didn't mess with that one. Since this one popped out really easy, I just pulled it out, put this one in, used a little silicone tape to make sure on the, around the end to make sure it's nice and tight. So this barrel is actually the S-Long or Slong barrel, and this metal inner barrel is from akgellblaster.com. So the blaster itself is EMERBU from EMERBUTOYS, and then we got that little metal, or that nice long barrel, S-Long or Slong from AK Gel Blaster. So that's really all I did there, other than I upgraded the spring too. So we're over 300 FPS as well. So that's probably the way again, I've got a lot of pieces and parts around that unfortunately are no longer labeled, but I believe I got like the equivalent of about an M95 spring in there. All right. Lastly is I wanted to have a buffer tube on there. And I've done a couple different things I've shown you before, but since I had an extra ARP, stock attachment piece like this, I thought, let's go ahead and let's just cut that nice. And I got a bunch of these buffer tubes around from the old, or from the Gen 8 M4A1s. So I cut off the one end, just thought that would fit in there nice. Got a little bit of tape I need to try to get off of there. But that way, the battery can, of course, still go all the way through there, no problem. And this just connects as normal because, there wasn't any changes. That little piece will go back on the bottom as well, that little trigger tension piece. And in fact, you still actually will be able to use the ARP stock that telescopes. Obviously, it's not going to telescope quite as short, but really it's not much longer. And then having the buffer tube here allows you to use a bunch of different stocks as well. So of course, when I finish it up, we'll have a different stock on there that's kind of a desert sand or this khaki color too. All right, for the front end, so this should stick out just, a little bit past the end of the handguard. And of course I made it so that the metal goes all the way, like right there, to the tip, because that just helps reinforce those threads, helps give them stability. So when you are switching things, of course, still you need to be careful with plastic threads no matter what. So I got a couple different options on kind of the fake suppressors to put on there, some nice long ones that are skinny. Of course, I got a ton of different choices when we get to that point. So that's the rundown, kind of what I'm doing with it. Again, EMERBUTOYS TG ARP9 or Tiangong ARP9. You can see here it's a really nice Gen 8.5 gearbox that those come with, upgraded to a longer inner barrel, the Slong or S-Long from akgellblaster.com, and then upgraded the spring to about the equivalent of an M95. So hopefully you guys like it. I'm excited to put it together. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I had to do some different prototyping in the first place to get there. But definitely think it's cool, and I think it's going to come together really nice. So check back to see that completed video. Of course, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell for notifications so that you get those notifications when a new video is up, because I do those giveaways about once a month, usually towards the end of the month, about $200 in custom plasters and accessories. And those contest videos always describe all the rules of how to enter and participate. So thanks for your support, and stay tuned for a finished product here.